I think that I've always been into the bizarre and obscure when it comes to music. And I'm not just saying that as one of those people who's like, oh, I've been into Ariel Pink since I was age 12? I've always liked the weird stuff. No, when I say always, I mean always. One of my earliest memories, and I couldn't have been older than 4 or 5 when this happened, is me dancing to Rubberneck Lions by Oysterhead in the living room with my father. And I'm sure that wasn't the first time, that was just the first time I could remember. But anyway, fact aside that I'm the only real Primus fan here and you're all just fakers, I think that in my pursuit of all this obscure and unknown independent music, diving through Bandcamp all day, asking people for their music suggestions so I could find the most obscure band, I tend to lose sight of the reason I was drawn into this type of music in the first place. I don't like it subtly because it's weird. You know, the first time I listened to Pork Soda by Primus, which was the first CD by them I really owned, I saved up my lunch money for about 2 weeks to buy it. The thing that kept me enthralled and listening all night wasn't that it was just so bizarre. It was that it was an album that I thought spoke to me. I may not have completely understood it, but I felt like it understood me, if that makes any sense. And that only really comes about when someone is so individualistic and so genuine that their art is just bursting with themselves, and it's something truly unique to that person. It's the same reason I love people like Ariel Pink or Mark Winter, or even going back to Pink Floyd. Actually, Pink Floyd is a bit far-flung in the history books for our conversation today, so let's get it out. Okay, thank you, gosh. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes. You know, in today's internet age, it's a beauty that everyone's able to congregate and discuss bizarre, off-kilter, and obscure musicians such as the Better Beatles or even Pataphysics going to today's times. But that also breeds something I feel like a lack of creativity in the musical scene. Sure, you get these amazing acts like the Coneheads, but for every Coneheads, you have 50 bands who do nothing but rip off the Coneheads. And I think this really shows the difference between ripping off someone and being inspired by them. For example, Ariel Pink is this artist who I've basically dedicated my life to the love of him. I remember I was sitting in Earth Science and listening to Fast Forward when I should have been paying attention to the teacher, and that first listen of Fast Forward irrevocably changed my life. I see everything different now. Everything's a little bit brighter in my life, you might say. I think I've inadvertently coined the term hauntology for his style of music online, and I kind of like it because it's a descriptor for this otherwise genre-defying style that seems to connect many people, and it's nice to have something to label it. But then I find a lot of people who call themselves hauntology, and I think that really shows blatant ripping off, because you have a lot of people who call themselves hauntology and just seek to do nothing but completely emulate Ariel's music. And some of it, because of that, is quite nice. You know, Ariel's music is great, so having more of this often very well-written music that sounds exactly like his music is awesome, but it just feels kind of soulless. With Ariel Pink, even when he was singing about heartbreak and death and drug addiction, you'd be hard-pressed to imagine him, while recording it, doing anything but smiling, beaming with his art and passion and inspiration. But with these people, I don't get a sense of passion for their art. I get a sense of wanting to be just like their favorite artist, and there's something kind of empty feeling about that. Sure, it'll still be fun, but it won't be as fun as it would have been if it was something original, something completely individualistic from that artist themselves. And this brings me to today's topic. You see, I don't know what it is about the last month or two, perhaps some world events that I'd rather not give any regard to, but I've just been feeling very disillusioned with a lot of the music I'm listening to. You know, the old stuff, the stuff I've already discovered, it's awesome, I love it. The problem is I've heard it already. And the new stuff, while I follow, say, the punk scene or the hauntology scene, a lot of it's very good. But it all just feels kind of the same. It's beginning to blend together like this music material mush. Everyone in punk is either doing the Coneheads thing, or the landline thing, or the weird safety control type thing, which is actually kind of cool, but not enough people do it, so it doesn't matter. And it's nice to listen to, but there's nothing special about it, nothing unique. This all changed when I was introduced to today's subject, Tim Graffuis. I first found out about Tim a month or two ago. I forget who followed who first, but one of us was following the other on Instagram, and I ended up checking out his account. I was immediately drawn to the bio, because the link in his bio was his Bandcamp account. Now this set off all the nerd alarms in my head for, oh my god, this person makes music, this could be the next big thing! So I checked it out. I went down his page, and I picked an album at random until I arrived at this one. Terrific, ingenious, magnificent. Now, my eyes were immediately stolen away by the fact that he was covering R. Stevie Moore's Part of the Problem, which is such a good song and everyone loves it, but no one covers it, man. What the hell? Now, I listened, and my first thought was, holy shit, he's covering Part of the Problem, that's awesome! But my second thought was, okay, so this guy's shtick is that he does a lot of home recordings, and he's kind of ripping off, kind of emulating R. Stevie Moore.
Oh no, my bladder is full. I'm gonna have to walk all the way to the bathroom and back.
He does that kind of wacky ween thing where the songs themselves aren't too different from normal pop songs, but they have all sorts of weird effects and instrumentation. I figured this guy was a home recording artist who rarely ever left his room and loved Ween, R. Stevie Moore, Ariel Pink, and a few assorted others, and wanted to make music just like his heroes. I thought I had this guy all figured out because I was a total prick at that time. Maybe I was having a bad day. And I wrote him off initially. But then, and I'm not entirely sure what possessed me to do so, I checked out his Bandcamp page again, and it entirely changed my outlook on his music. I did a more comprehensive dive into his albums, and I looked through the lyrics, some of which are listed on the albums, and I found that he was really writing about things he was passionate about, and looking back, it seemed like this guy was a true fan of these musicians. I think I had gotten it all wrong with my appraisal of him just copying all these artists which he thought were cool for some imaginary internet points, but rather I think it's that through the music of, say, Ariel Pink and R. Stevie Moore, he's discovered things about himself, learned things about life, and now he's trying to use this medium that enhanced his life so much and use it to communicate things that he otherwise can't communicate. You know, Les Claypool isn't just singing about being a weirdo and not fitting into society in the song 11 because he thinks that it'll be cool. It's because it's something he feels deep in his soul. He's not just writing this bizarre and highly addictive, funky metal crap because it's what his favorite musicians write, but it's because it's the only way he knows how to communicate these feelings. And this, I think, is the most stark difference between emulation and truly individual creation. Now, let's do a little experiment if you're so daring. Go on to bandcamp.com and go searching through the punk hashtag. Certainly you'll find a lot of the aforementioned bands emulating the Coneheads, and if they're kind enough to put up their lyrics, because no one does for some reason, you'll see that they're all writing about the same things. They're all writing about some BS social issues that in the end don't really matter, and just things that punks should get mad about. But that's so bland. Our Stevie Moore isn't someone who speaks to the collective soul of everyone who listens because he writes about the normal rock star lifestyle. It's because it's about feelings we can all relate with. The Coneheads didn't get popular because they were writing about all the same things everyone else was. Precisely, they got famous because they were writing about different things. Now, if you look at our boy Tim here, he's the exact same way. You won't find him writing about a lot of the same bedroom pop tropes, such as, oh, I'm so socially awkward and lonely, and I'm going to play you a solemn piano-accented acoustic guitar piece to tell you about how sad and lonely I am, and I'm going to give myself a memey name like Sadboi with a piano. No. He writes about things that most people feel, most people can relate with, not things that you have to challenge yourself to relate with. And even if you don't relate with it, it feels genuine, it feels warm. It doesn't feel like someone on the internet trying to make music that everyone else will like. It feels like your friend just telling you about his day set to some bizarre music he wrote. It's music that makes me feel things. Things that I don't even fully understand, can't even quantify sometimes. And that is awesome! So, why am I telling you all this? I mean, it's not just to talk to you guys about this cool new artist I found and why you should support him, although that's a big part of it. Please go over to Tim's Bandcamp page, and if you so enjoy the songs you listen to, why not throw our boy a couple bucks? He deserves it. But I think this highlights exactly why I've been so bleaked out by all the new music I've been listening to. It's because there hasn't been someone new in my playlist that's been this genuine for a long time. Granted, a long time here is only 6 months, but with all the punk I listen to, that's a long time. By now, I've watched a couple clips on YouTube of Tim live with his backing band, Tim and the Stupid Babies, a name which always makes me laugh because my sense of humor hasn't evolved past that of age 7. But something I've noticed in all these clips is that Tim always looks happy. Even in this clip of him and his drummer Tony playing before an audience of probably no one except the cameraman, he's just living it up, having the time of his life. And that's something that only really happens when you're writing music that truly comes from the soul. I wish more people would write not what they think they need to write just because Ariel Pink did it once and it sounded really cool, but something that they truly want to produce, something that they want to say. And in the end, I think that the output from that will be far better than anything done in just an attempt to copy your favorite musician. Hey everyone, Sam here, just with a little post-video update from the comforts of my own room. Thank you, coronavirus. Thank you very, very much for watching a YouTube video that was not a rip of an Ariel Pink tape. I really appreciate it. I plan to be doing more videos like this in the future because I find, sure, a lot of people come to me for Ariel Pink or like weird punk music I find, but then end up staying because I have a lot of weird, offbeat, and just strange pieces of art to recommend. So I think I'm going to continue doing that. And it's going to be a lot of video essays in the future, philosophical stuff, but I'll still upload tape rips. I'm currently have a couple unripped tapes to upload. I just realized you can't see where I'm looking off screen, but I was looking at my my tape shelf. And I'm waiting on a Y cable to come from Amazon so I can continue doing rips, but currently Amazon's shipping program is totally cooked, so it's going to take a little longer than usual. But by the time this video's out, I should have it. Other than that, I just wanted to say that I hope you enjoy these types of videos, and theoretically, because I'm home, I should be producing more content, but don't hold me to that because I have schoolwork, I am trying to get a job soon, and I am writing a book. That's right. It is nowhere near being complete. I am working very, very slowly on it. However, if you would like to read some stuff I've wrote, or even not relating to the book, just anything I've written. I love writing. If you want to talk writing or just art in general, I don't know, I love talking to people, man. Email me. So yeah, I think that's all. Thank you all for watching, and remember to just have fun. Even in times like this when it can be depressing and bleak, there's always excuses to have fun. You should just find things to keep you going. Even if it's little, there's no such thing as it being too little. As long as it's what's keeping you happy, then it's big enough and as good as it ever could be. Remember, There's always time for fun.
It's Friday night. Let's dance.